everyone. It's time again to recap the latest news from the solar PV industry, compiled by the American Solar Energy Society. I'm Jay Warmke with SolarPVTraining.com, and this is what's happening in the wonderful world of solar for the week of May 24th. The battery storage sector is having a record year, with installments up 32% in the first quarter of 2026 compared with the same time period in 2025. Utility scale storage accounted for 7.8 gigawatt hours of this year's installations, with commercial and industrial behind at 648 megawatt hours, and finally 515 megawatt hours from residential storage. The recent growth in solar and storage is occurring primarily in traditional red states. 71% of the utility scale storage installations were built in states President Trump won in 2024. Texas, Arizona, and California accounted for the largest share of current installations, with Georgia, Iowa, and Mississippi also posting impressive figures. Commercial electricity consumption is likely to surpass residential use for the first time on record in 2027, the U.S. Energy Information Administration reported last week. The commercial sector, which includes data centers, Bitcoin miners, and cloud computing, is expected to see electricity use grow to about 1,530 billion kilowatt hours in 2026, matching the current electrical use within the residential sector. Demand from the residential sector, which has historically accounted for the largest share of the U.S. electricity use, will remain largely flat over the next 2 years, projected to grow only about 0.5% in 2026 and 2027. Meanwhile, the U.S. electricity prices continue to rise amid growing demand, particularly from the commercial sector. Residential customers will pay an average of 18.2 cents per kilowatt hour in 2026. That's about a 5% increase over 2025. Prices vary widely across the nation. Areas along the East Coast will experience the largest growth in residential prices, with average annual increases as high as 7% each of the next 2 years, according to EIA. Widespread instances of cracks in PV module glass started appearing about 5 years ago. Spontaneous glass breakage is now one of the solar industry's top issues, largely caused by manufacturing pressure and lack of standards. Since about 2021, scientists, operators, and testing labs have been seeing glass breakage on solar modules for no apparent cause. Such traditional causes would be from impacts or extreme weather. Known as spontaneous glass breakage, panels simply crack or shatter without warning. In an effort to supply the market with ever larger and ever cheaper solar panels, manufacturers have thinned the glass, the frames, the encapsulant, and gone to a more aggressive mounting process. The less robust material often cannot stand up to even routine handling of the panel. With glass on both sides of the panel representing more than half of the module's weight, manufacturers found that they could cut costs by reducing its thickness. While previous PV module generations generally had about 3.2 millimeter thick glass, current modules now typically install glass that's only about 2 millimeters thick. There are currently no glass-specific standards, meaning that glass manufacturers and module manufacturers are not currently reporting the glass properties of the panels in any meaningful way. And the U.S. House of Representatives is considering a $130 annual fee for electric vehicles, a $35 fee for plug-in hybrids, and no additional fee for internal combustion engine vehicles. The fee would take effect October 1st, 2026 and expire in 2036. Starting in 2029, the fee would increase $5 every 2 years, capping at $150 for EVs and $50 for plug-in hybrids. There are currently about 6 million EVs registered in the U.S., In year one, the new tax would raise roughly $780 million. Proponents claim that the tax would help offset the expense of maintaining the nation's highway infrastructure. The Federal Highway Administration has taxed gasoline at 18.4 cents per gallon and diesel at 24.4 cents per gallon since 1993. The gas tax annually raises approximately $26 billion. It should be noted, however, that the Trump administration is currently suggesting suspending the gas tax as gas prices climb, driven in large part by the war in the Middle East. And that's the news from the solar industry for this week. We'll see you next week.